Hey, what's up, nerds? It's Paul at Radio Free Hammer Hall. Today, I'm going to do a quick math hammer on something that kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent from what I was originally doing. Um, we're going to talk about which critical hit types are actually best in Age of Sigmar. There's really only three options, so let's hit it. So, crit auto wound, crit two hits, crit mortal. Which one's best? Which one's worst? How do we rank these three? Um, for just a refresher on what it does, to pad airtime and just in case anybody has no idea what the heck is going on in the universe. Um, Crit auto wound means you just skip the wound roll for your sixes to hit. Crit two hits means you count every six to hit as two hits, and crit mortals means it is you do mortal wounds equal to the damage characteristic, and the attack sequence for that die ends. So with this, I'm gonna spare you guys all of like the actual math. I will tell you this: the crit auto wound out of the three is always the worst option. um, all you're doing with this is skipping over that wound roll. So it's, as that to wound characteristic gets better, then the worse ultimately the crit auto wound actually becomes, because it's not really doing that much for you as opposed to, just a successful hit. However, when we look at crit two hits versus crit mortals, it depends on what your to wound stat looks like and what the modified save uh, for the enemy is. So that's, their save after Ren. The answer is ultimately it depends, but I did some math out here, and I will spare you guys from the details of the math just to get into the nitty gritty. Okay, so here's the deal. On the vertical, we have your to wound characteristic, and on the horizontal, we've got the modified save characteristic. So when we're looking at this, if the save characteristic is, after rend and any other modifiers is 4 up or better, then crit mortal is always going to be better. If you get to a 5 up, then you're going to be better on a to wound roll of a 2 up or 3 up, as opposed to the 4 and 5, where crit mortal is going to be better there. And then once you get to a modified save of 6 plus, then you're always going to be better to go with crit 2 hits. So, this creates an interesting problem, because these are, common lines to be hitting here. Um, you know, fours and fives are like the most common saves in this game, and there's a lot of Rend 1 and Rend 2. So, like, you're going to have to be really analyzing things closely and, like, trying to figure out, when that crit mortal versus crit 2 hits is going to be the superior thing. Now, this ultimately really was something I was drilling down into because of Slanesh, and I realized that you're not always going to want to cast that spell to get crit mortals all of the time, because it's not always the best option. On a lot of your things that are going to have Ren 2, you're really going to just prefer to stick with that crit 2 hits because it's going to be better. So it's a weird little mathematical thing that I've discovered in here. I think they probably intended for crit mortal to always be better, but crit 2 hits is going to frequently be your go-to, especially with like your big stuff in Slanesh. Anywho, that's about it for now, guys. So I thought this was some cool, fun, interesting math. Hopefully this is helpful if you're breaking down and trying to analyze units and figure out which is actually better. Otherwise, it's just kind of a fun little novel thing to know. Anywho, I'll talk to you all later.